Hello and welcome to the Secrets of Healthful Motherhood Summit. My name is Vera Stepina and I'm very excited to see all of you today. My guest today is Zlata Sushchik. Zlata Sushchik is a lifestyle coach, a sports nutritionist, and a founder of an online wellness company called Sexyfit. And her company helps women with goal setting, overcoming fear, creating self-esteem, and uses fitness to conquer obstacles. Zlata has been featured in different magazines such as Muscular Development, Flex Magazine, and Bodybuilding.com, and she's a regular contributor to Huffington Post Healthy Living. Zlata, hi, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you? How's pregnancy going?
Pregnancy is going pretty well, thank you so much.
Last time I saw you, I could already tell that you're pregnant.
I know. Well, people usually think that I ate a little bit too much over the holidays, which is nice that I'm starting to show the actual belly.
Last time I saw you, that was a lot of food you had to eat.
Well, it's really nice to see you today, and I wanted to thank you for making time and to agreeing to do the interview with us. And I wanted to ask you to begin with, what's your story? How did you get inspired? What made you go into fitness industry?
I had a pretty extensive journey in the industry itself, and I actually never really thought of myself as a fit person or athletic person. I just remember when I lived in Russia, I used to skip PE classes, and they always made fun of me because I never went. So now when I tell my friends back at home that I'm an experienced fitness competitor, it's kind of a funny joke. But I didn't run my first mile until I was 16, and I only did my first fitness show because my friend was doing it and I was the only friend I had. And since I didn't have any more friends and, I had to fit in somehow, I did my first show. But it spiraled into a big passion of mine for about 5 years. It was really fun. I competed. I was doing really well, top 3, top 5 nationals. And, it was really great. It was a journey. And then, what I really learned through my career in fitness is that when you do things that are really fun and when you do things that feed your soul and kind of make you happy, you will inevitably see results and feel more athletic. Because my journey kind of got sour for a year or two when I really focused on meeting a certain criteria, a certain goal, and fitting into a certain way that the judges were supposed to look at me. But I relate that to women all the time because, media bombards us with the way mothers should be like, or with the way we should look like, or perfect skin, perfect hair, perfect makeup. So I was kind of stuck in that mindset and lost my mojo of fun through the fitness journey. And what I saw when I started Sexyfit is a way for women to find nutritional help, fitness help, accountability help that really feeds the soul, the mind and body, because when your mind is right, the body will come, and feeling sexy is a side effect of being consistent and being happy about yourself and about your life. So, but as far as my journey goes, I wasn't just like a fitness girl because, oftentimes we look at fitness girls, they're like, oh, all they do is fitness. They're just at the gym 24/7. Like, obviously, that's all you do. But I went through bachelor's and master's degree while I was competing. I worked for a corporate company before I started my company. So I very much understand the struggle of time management, the struggle of fitting it all in. I work with a lot of moms now, and that's the first thing we talk about. So my journey has been really fun. My journey has been really interesting. My journey has been taking me to a whole new level with every aspect of my life. So hopefully that kind of explains the journey in of itself.
What does it mean to you, sexy fit?
And spam filters love us because sexy has been kind of demonized over time. But to me, goals are sexy. To me, feeling healthy is sexy. To me, how you feel, which is the sexy piece of it, is how you radiate through life, how you shine through, and how you show your confidence to the world, to your family, to your friends, and through life in general.
So, and you said that you work with a lot of moms, and turns out the moms actually want to feel sexy sometimes too.
It turns out that they do. Weird.
That is amazing because it's the farthest from a definition of a mother I would think of.
Well, not really. It's and I get this a lot. It's like when a kid puked on me and somebody threw something at me and I spilled something and I'm in my sweatpants and I can still feel beautiful. That says a lot
so
about
sexy.
me as a mom, right? But it turns out that feeling of sexy, of feeling accomplished, feeling active, feeling fit, and really inspiring people around is what mothers are after. And they say, this is what I hear from moms all the time: I want to be a great example to my kids. I want to be a great example to my children, or how to live a healthful life, how to live a happy life. And that's the number one goal of it all, for moms, is to get themselves in order so they can really shine what it is that they're trying to teach their kids. And it just, working with moms is really different because moms do everything for their children. And everybody in the household comes first before their needs. And the mommy guilt always kicks in. And it's like, well, I do everything for my children. But I'll never forget. I don't want to quote Dr. Phil, but when mama ain't happy, nobody happy. So we really have to think about the fact that putting ourselves first is only going to give more to our family, and we're able to expand our capacity to be fulfilled with self, to feel sexy with self, and to really love more, because that's what it's all about. When we love ourselves, we are able to give more joy to our family. So if we look at it not from the perspective of mommy guilt per se, and that's what I talk a lot about, but from a position of I can love somebody else more when I love myself more, I think that's a key thing for moms in general.
So you just said that, mommy guilt, we have a lot of mommy guilt. Do you think that moms have more excuses than, let's say, non-mothers, or maybe we rationalize our excuses a little bit more because we always try to put everybody else's needs ahead of ours?
I don't know, Vera, do you?
I'm asking you. I know exactly what I feel.
Well, what's the conversation that goes on in your head as a mom?
Yes, that is exactly. I think it's not always about excuses. It's about rationalizing, like, for instance, this morning I woke up really early because my baby is sick and we didn't sleep the whole night. So I can say that I feel tired and I don't want to work out. I can also rationalize it. I didn't get enough sleep, I'm fatigued, I puked twice this morning because I'm still pregnant, surprisingly. But also I can just kind of kick the excuses in the butt, and just go and do it. And it's still possible.
Right.
But I feel as mothers, we always tend to rationalize our excuses a little bit more than other people, because obviously you will have no other excuses. And I can come up with 1,000 of different reasons and excuses to not go and not do that.
Right. I think we all can come up with 1,000 excuses to not do something. I have business guilt, which is like, well, I should probably do this instead of, going to work out. Or I probably should finish this email before I go and work out. I probably should finish this business plan before I go and work out. Granted, it's not like children, but there are hundreds of excuses that goes through my head too. But this is not the thing of excuses. This is the thing about fitness and health somehow being twisted in the industry that you have to die, and if you didn't die during a workout, you wasted a workout, might as well not do anything. And I hear people, oh, you can't read on a treadmill, or walking doesn't do anything, or stretching doesn't do anything. And I believe that saying that no excuses, no pain, no gain marketing has really had moms and women twisted in general, because you don't have to die during a workout every day. And it will probably be more therapeutic and more beneficial to you if, instead of killing yourself when you're fatigued and you didn't sleep all night, you can go on a 45-minute walk that doesn't require you to get in your car, get to the gym, figure out what it is the heck that you're doing at the gym, come home, boom, mommy guilt kicks in because now dinner isn't ready. But instead, taking time for self, to spend time with your children, to get out of the house, especially somewhere like California, or even like playing in the snow in the wintertime, you know what I mean? I'm from Alaska, so there are a lot more excuses, obstacles due to the weather, but even then, the act of moving and the act of actually getting something done for your mental and physical health is going to be greater than you having stress over mommy guilt if you went to the gym. So does that kind of explain the excuse piece? I don't necessarily think it's as much excuses, but more how fitness has been projected on us. And if moms just took the time to move, for example, a pedometer that measures steps, and I know that on average, mom walks 10 to 15,000 steps, right?
About.
Like that. But think of all the moms who are watching TV with their kids for 4 hours a day. Statistics show that we spend 3 to 4 hours in front of TV. 60% of Americans do. I mean, what percentage of that is mothers? I mean, I'm no scientist, but let me just tell you, if a butt got off the couch, the TV turned off, you don't have any other things to do other than move. So it's not about killing it at the gym every day. It's about moving. So I don't have time excuse is not really valid if you have time to watch TV.
And it's not only we do because out of boredom,
right,
I would say, or because we're tired, but we are tired because we're bored, because we're home with the kids, and
right,
physically you cannot sit on the floor and play for 7 hours because it's just not as fun
right,
as it is for the kids, So I think another thing that is great to do to fight excuses or to kind of stay on track, there are a ton of whatever online challenges, like a 30-day squat challenge or like ab challenge, and it's not maybe necessarily for the fitness point of it, because you're not going to get a great butt after 30 days of squatting.
Really?
Well, I tried that, and anyway, I think the point of it is that you stay consistent, and that every day you have to do something, and there's a little group or whatever you do with the friends, and you feel responsible that you have to do those 50, 60 squats per day. And once you do 50 squats, you're probably going to go and do something else.
Right.
That's, I think most likely you will.
Well, it's a commitment piece.
It's like doing races, or this is why I mentioned challenges. That's the commitment piece, exactly. Because you stay committed to something that's so little, but actually plays such a big role.
I spoke on another summit yesterday, and we really talked about mindfulness techniques. And perhaps this is actually a really good piece for this interview too, is we tend to think like, oh, I'm starting a new thing, right? A new challenge, a new commitment. Everything is going to be completely different. I have this crazy amount of willpower. I magically have more time, and magically I'm not going to have excuses and things like that. But when we make a commitment, there are two components to a commitment. The first component, like with everything in life, why? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it to fit in your pants? Well, guess what? It's probably not going to last that long, because once you fit in your pants, you're most likely going to quit. But if you have a commitment like teaching your children how to eat healthier, or showing an example of mom that doesn't give up because kids are now looking at you and you want them to pick up certain good habits. And we consciously know what those good habits are, so we internally start to project them. Consistency, follow through, finish what you start, one more rep, and things like that. So that's one piece. Know your why. And make sure that that why is real and that you can really tie a lot of things to that. Second thing, I believe that everything goes wrong with this piece because we magically think that we're going to have like more willpower and 36 hours in a day. We don't analyze what went wrong the last time, right? We kind of charge into this whole thing with a new mindset, like, I'm a clean slate now, I got this. And I'm like, okay, let's stop and think, what worked? What hasn't worked? Why hasn't it not worked? And if it worked for 2 years, why is it that there's some yo-yo dieting that's happening? Lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. We don't have a weight gain problem, we have a weight regain problem. You know what I mean? Because we tend to lose it and get back up, lose it, get back up. And that piece is the most important one when you're starting a new challenge, when you're starting a lifestyle shift, and when you're moving step by step, is because we don't really understand, like, why couldn't I commit to the gym 5 times a week, let's say? Well, because 5 times wasn't realistic for you. Why can't you just commit to 2? You know that your husband is going to be home at certain times and can watch the kids, so go to the gym for 2, twice a week, instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week and then not make it at all because you're so frustrated. Or I'm going to go on a new diet, but the new diet doesn't really fit in the lifestyle that your family is used to. And nobody's all of a sudden going to eat rice and vegetables or drink juices all day long. And it's just you being isolated from your family. So those 2 pieces are essential when you're starting to look at your journey as a whole, and looking at why you actually want to achieve it beyond the pant size, and then analyzing what went wrong, what went right. What spirals out of those 2 pieces is actually a realistic kind of schedule that you can hold yourself accountable to. The commitment piece. I can commit to twice 2 workouts at the gym, or 2 Zumba classes, or 2 things of this, or like 2 walks per week that are 2 hours, or 1 outside play day with me and my husband and my kids. So, and then you start to see the schedule in of itself, how you can manage your time to fit those things in. Because I can very much relate to the piece of just getting busier and busier and busier with everyday stuff, and putting things on a back burner when you don't know your why and when you don't know what went wrong. And that commitment can really translate into family habits in general, because you make a commitment to eat more vegetables. Well, sneak in a salad. Don't go on a six juices a day cleanse because you need to fit in your pants. Maybe 1 juice a day to start with, and don't think that magically it's all gonna, like, you can flip everything upside down and think that's gonna work. It's a gradual step-by-step piece that you have to work in. So I don't know how we got to this, but
I was just gonna ask you. So I was gonna say that basically you started to explain the approach of your company, which is accountability, nutrition, and fitness. So you told us about accountability, which is finding your why and staying committed and all that. Let's talk a little bit about the other 2, your approach to nutrition and fitness.
Right.
Do we do diets? Do we do go hard or go home? What's your approach? Tilapia,
Tilapia. Oh man, I love me some tilapia. Here's the thing. So, and I believe that a true lifestyle shift happens in 3 pieces. And you briefly mentioned that because you know me, you know our approach, you know how we do things around here. But how we do things around here is we focus on 3 things: accountability, nutrition, and fitness. And each one of those pieces has a separate approach, right? So I just talked a little bit about accountability, so that was all that. And it's not accountability in seeking someone to kick you in the ass and be like, you just need to get off the couch. That's not the kind of accountability I'm talking about. I'm talking about commitment to self and following through on self goals and things that you can hold yourself accountable for. A coach, a partnership with someone, a training partner, or something like that. It's a 2-way street. You can't just expect someone to just be kicking you in the ass the whole time. Oh, I'm lazy. I don't think it's the laziness piece. I think it's very much something else. It's very much organization and putting things in the right shelves, let's say, and organizing your mind so you can organize your life. So that's the accountability piece, just to be clear. And amazing things happen when that happens, because you all of a sudden have the capacity to do more things. As far as nutrition and Sexyfit method, as far as nutrition goes, I don't believe in diets. And here's the story with that. And this is so common now. For about 7 years of my life, I ate off of a sheet of paper, like this. And things were written on it like, you have your 4 egg whites, you have your tilapia, you have your chicken, you have your beans, and things like that. And while those things are really healthy, that's great, the way that you think of a diet when it's written on a sheet of paper, it gives you no flexibility, let alone your family the flexibility to eat what you like, because over time we have formed certain habits. I see this sheet diets everywhere. Cosmo has a new one every month. Vogue has a new one every month. Motherhood has a new one every month. And then we look at the sheet of paper And if you have very strong willpower, you'll probably follow that for a month or 6 weeks, and you're like, nailed it for 6 weeks. And then you go bonkers because it's the same thing that gets repeated over time, and you don't understand the science of the sheet diet in general. Or if you really don't understand it, you follow for 3 days and you're like, screw that, I'm not doing it because this is way too hard. But that's when the failure kicks in. I'm such a failure, I can't follow through. How hard is it to do this diet? This is impossible. Losing weight is difficult, and I'm just going to be like this my whole life, and I can't even follow a simple sheet. Like, there's so much guilt that's associated with that sheet. You know what I mean?
I don't have the necessarily spices, or I can get to the store, yes.
Right. So, like, my family's not going to eat this. This is ridiculous. So the foundation of what we need to know about nutrition in general is the macronutrients, right? What are the proteins? What are the carbs? What are the fats? And when you're looking at a plate, I suggest that you know what those things are on your plate, because that's how you start to be able to balance out things. That's how you are able to gain flexibility. That's how you're able to gain control over what it is that you're eating, and how you can understand what your family kind of needs. So let's say you are craving cake, right? But cake is carbs, so you're probably just craving really good carbs. Like rice is a great carb, quinoa is a bean, but it's still a carb. Oatmeal, or maybe some home-baked bread, or maybe some homemade pizza or something like that. Those are all carbs. So your body will actually trick you into thinking that you want different things when you are in fact deprived of that particular macronutrient. So what sheet diets do, they give you quick results because they focus on taking in a lot of protein, lots of fruits and lots of vegetables, and we take the carb piece out completely. So when carbs meaning grains and things like that. So when we take that out completely, our body ends up craving it. We're drastically cutting calories, and body just wants something that's so familiar. Chips, cake, pasta, things like that. And finally we cave in and we think of like a giant failure of ourselves. So,
because I can't stay strong. I'm not good enough.
Right. I'm not good enough to do this. Like, how do fit people do this? Like, I don't get it. Like, screw this. I'm just going to go eat some cake. And that's the problem with sheet diets. My approach to nutrition, and what I recommend to all moms, is actually to make a sheet of healthy things you like and your family likes. Because there are certain healthy things that you will be amazed. You're like, oh, I actually kind of like spinach and kind of like strawberries. And then placing them in the macronutrient groups to understand, like chicken is obviously protein, yams are carbs, and fruit is carbs and things like that. And start manipulating those healthy things that you like and your family likes, and how you can maybe incorporate them into healthy cooking at home, like making a healthy pizza. How can you do that with all the ingredients that you and your family likes? So instead of giving you a sheet to follow that you're gonna rip your head out of, rip your hair out of your head and going, oh my God, are you kidding me? My family's not gonna eat this. You actually kind of create your own method. You create your own diet. You create your own accountability food sheet, if you would. So hopefully that explains the nutritional piece.
How do you know, let's say, so you said we need to know how many, like macronutrients, we need to know how many carbs, fats, and proteins. Let's say, can we kind of calculate it ourselves? Is there like a guideline, or do you think it's necessary that a professional does it for you?
It depends on what stage you're in. If you don't know anything about macronutrients, and what I just said is like, I don't understand, and that's okay. That's totally fine. We all started there. I was honestly following a sheet diet for 5 years before I realized that chicken can be substituted with turkey. Call me stupid, but that's what happened.
Really?
Yeah. But when you're in a competitive mindset, coach said eat chicken, you eat chicken. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that will happen for 36 weeks, and you're like, oh my God, maybe I should have something else. But that's definitely not something I practice at all. You need to understand what it is that you're eating. But if you're just starting to count, MyFitnessPal is a fantastic tool to kind of understand where you are in protein, carbs, and fats level. And I know that it's kind of a drag to use for the first month or so, because you're putting in your recipes and you're putting in the things that you like. But at the same time, once you get it working, you can really see how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats you're having. And if you're having very low number of fats, maybe that's why you're craving certain things. If you're low on carbs, that's why you're craving cake. If you're low on protein, you may feel lethargic, because every macronutrient group is responsible for what kind of cravings we're having, for what kind of quality energy we're having. And if you sorry. And if you know how to manipulate those macronutrients, you will kind of understand your cravings. So that's if you don't know a thing about macros. Just start tracking them in MyFitnessPal. I say that a really good starting point is not looking at the calories, because not all calories are created equal. I see this as a big mistake all the time. Moms are like, oh, you're just going to start counting calories. It's going to be a 1,200 calorie diet. Well, calories from donuts and calories from lettuce wrap with chicken are going to be completely different quality. And it necessarily not mean that they're the same kind of energy fuel that you need to go through the day, especially as a mother who needs to be on top of it all the time and have the focus that she needs. If you're a little bit more versed in macronutrients and that kind of thing, figuring out what your macros are per pound of body weight, tons of calculators out there. I suggest 1 gram of protein per pound to start with, about maybe the same kind of carb count and half of fat per pound of body weight. So let's say if you weigh 140 pounds, it's 140 grams of protein, 140 grams of carbs, and 70 grams of fat. So that's like and from there you can see what your weight is doing, what your energy levels are doing. And if you're a mother who walks 15,000 steps a day, you need all the energy you can possibly get from the food, because your body is going to use fuel as energy to keep focused, to feel happy, to feel joy, to give to your kids and to love them more, because that all requires energy. So number one mistake in any diet is cutting the calories in half means cutting the energy in half, and you're lethargic, chilling on a couch going, oh my God. So we don't want for that to happen. This is where it is important to take control of your health and important to understand what it is that you are taking in and what kind of quality calories you're taking in.
Yeah, and then you're still going to go eat cake because you still need the energy.
Right. So if you...
if you cut the calories in half,
If you cut the calories in half, if you cut the calories in half, you risk crazy cravings, you risk like dreaming of food, and, fighting for the last cupcakes at a birthday party because you're like, my God, I just need something. So...
Okay, since you touched up the cravings, let's talk a little bit about emotional eating. I know you wrote a book on emotional eating, and can you explain, we don't have that much time, can you explain what is emotional eating and why do we need to know about it?
So,
in 5 minutes, right?
Emotional eating in 5 minutes, 1, 2, 3. Yes, I did write a book. It's called Break Free for Emotional Eating. It's a very quick guide to understand why we do it physically, why we do it psychologically, and how to go through the steps to really start on a journey of beating that habit, because it is a lot of times a habit. We need to understand, first and foremost, is it really emotional eating, or are you just hungry? Because if you're just hungry from cutting all kinds of calories, that ain't emotional eating. You're just eating.
How do you know that?
How do you know that? If you're on less than 1,200 calorie diet,
most likely.
If you just walk around and dream of food, if you're like a food zombie, and you literally, your hand will reach out to grab something before your mind even has time to shut down, time to like process this, it most likely is just because you're hungry. So look at your macronutrients, look at what you're taking in, and most of the time, mothers, you ladies, do this thing where you don't eat all day because you're taking care of everyone else, then your insulin crashes and your body just really wants the insulin to jump back up. So you eat the first thing that's sweet because that's how the insulin's going to go up. That sweet thing, insulin is going to process, and then it's going to crash again, and you're going to feel super tired and eat something again that's going to get your insulin back up. So it becomes like this insulin jump of like, you're like riding an insulin roller coaster. When your insulin is elevated, your body's storing fat. And throughout the day, you know, there's like tons of stuff going on about intermediate fasting and all that stuff. I per se do not believe in intermediate fasting because I believe that women already starve themselves enough. So if you are a mother and you woke up in the morning and you're like, got your kids to school and you come home and you didn't eat for like 3 hours because of the roller coaster that was going on, of course you're hungry. So you're gonna grab something really quick because you probably need to run off and like clean the house or something, or run off to work, or you skip that whole step in general. Well, of course your insulin is gonna be on a crazy ride. So to fight that, we really need to make conscious 5 minutes of the day to at least have a protein shake. Takes 2 seconds. And it's not going to send your insulin on a roller coaster. Or have an apple with nuts, because nuts are going to, and apples work really well together to just kind of neutralize the insulin from the sugar in the fruit. So things like that. So if you are, in fact, having emotional eating moments because you're just hungry, that's not emotional eating. It's just eating because you haven't eaten all day. So, but emotional eating in general is psychologically and physically, let's talk about the physical piece. So when you're having an emotional eating moment and life sucks and, you know, there are bills and the husband is not home and, you know, the kids are being total poop all day and, you know, somebody pooped on you maybe. It happens, you know what I mean? Or like whatever stress is there. And you're sitting there and you're like, wow, ice cream sounds amazing. And you actually go and get ice cream. Or perhaps maybe you're an emotional eater who craves a burger and goes through a drive-thru after you drop the kids off and you're like, wow, I really just need something to really feel happier. Okay, that's emotional eating. And that emotional eating is actually from our brain, because our brain is craving serotonin. Our brain is craving a happy, you know, hormones and happy things to like just pick us up a little bit. And sweet foods, any foods that elevate our insulin level actually produce more serotonin and tell us it's okay to calm down. You can be calm now. That's fine. And our body doesn't taking into the account that probably after that we're going to feel more like shit about ourselves because the guilt is going to settle in. And why did I eat that? And then we spiral off on the fat conversation. That's never good. But in the moment, it is literally your body, your brain saying, hey, you need to calm down, eat something sweet. So, but how we can get that happy, instant happy, I mean, as dumb as it sounds, do 50 jumping jacks, you're going to be just as happy. I'm serious, because, well, exercise causes, you know, production of serotonin. So if you just do something physical, if you get outside and you can breathe through, you can do a couple stretches or maybe do a couple jumping jacks and have a healthy conversation with yourself and say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. You talk through that piece with yourself. You calm down, or maybe you're driving through a drive-thru and you know the moment's there and you're like, I'm totally fine. I'm going to be strong. I don't really need this. I just really need to walk it out. Come home and get in a happy place. You know what I mean? Turn on some happy music. I mean, it literally just takes that conscious moment to understand that the aftermath of this is going to be worse. And if it's going to, you know, telling the drive-thru girl saying, I don't really want anything, I'm just kind of here. Let me drive through, that's fine. If you're at home eating ice cream, when you open the door, you're like, I don't really need you because I can be happy without you, and it's going to make you happier in the long run. So that's how you fight the physical. And what my biggest suggestion is to get in a happy place, have a bowl of fruit. Because it's going to be healthier than necessarily eating a whole bunch of fruit a whole bunch of sugar in the ice cream, or eating a bag of chips or something like that. Load up on healthier sugars, and it will just make you healthier and happier long term, and you're not going to have quite as much bloating the next day, and there's going to be not that much guilt. So if you know that you're an emotional eater and you know that that's your physical response, not your psychological response necessarily, that's a great tool to use. Just have a bunch of fruit in the house. As far as psychological reasons, I mean, there are three very dominant ones. Our moms always fix our boo-boos with candy.
That's true.
Moms always fix boo-boos with candy, so that's one thing. I'm actually very lucky because nobody ever fixed my boo-boos, and they're like, you're a big girl, you're gonna get over it.
Or we didn't have candy in Soviet Union? Okay.
Nope. It was like, get up and go. Probably my Russian mom. And my grandma's raised me too, so there was like no babysitting me with candy. So that's a big one. We emotional eat in procrastination. So we're going to eat everything in the house before we actually need to do what we need to do. And if you went to college, you know that we procrastinate to the last minute, that we stay up all night eating a whole bunch of food and writing the paper. That's from that particular piece. Or we just kind of mindlessly eat is the third one. And it is an emotional eating piece that just to feel like we're doing something and to feel present. That happens a lot in social environment. A lot. If we go to mommy parties, if we go to any kind of places where we are uncomfortable, the emotional response is to eat your way into the social setting. And I see that happening a lot, especially like we Russians, you know how we get together around the table, and throughout the night we just keep freaking eating because the food
we
is
never
there.
Leave the table. I know.
We never leave the table. So those are the three important ones that I see. The psychological piece of every boo-boo can be fixed with something sweet. That's something to really be aware of long term, because think about every movie like Sex and the City. How boyfriend breaks up with you or something shitty happens, they eat ice cream
or candies.
And candies. Or, oh, I just really need this. I need this. And, or when we're feeling crappy, it's girls' night and we drink wine and have cupcakes and things like that. That's all sugar. That's all emotional eating. So that really all spirals out of that fixing boo-boos with something sweet kind of thing. Procrastination is a big one. And the social setting, oh man, that's a tough one too. So if we just create awareness over all those, the psychological piece and the physical piece, I think it's going to be a lot easier to kind of break free from the whole situation in general, because you are now more aware of the situation in and of itself.
So basically you're trying to say that it's going to be there. We are going to run into it at one point or another. It's just as long as we know about it, as long as we see it, we understand. Right. What's happening. It's kind of it's easier to fix it or to maybe do half of the damage in some cases.
Right. But another thing is sugar is so highly addicting. So if we continue the circle and we allow the circle to happen, even without we know we binge, we know we emotionally eat, we know what's gonna happen. Be prepared for the situation. Have something healthy in the house you can binge on. Or have something healthy in the house you can emotionally eat on. Because you will notice how your cravings actually go down the less crap you eat during those moments. And then at some point, once the sugar cravings aren't there anymore, by the way, chips and things like that, even the savory foods have sugar in them. So if you don't think you crave sugar when you emotionally eat, you do, because it's artificially already in that food. So now that we have that piece covered, but you know that you're gonna go into the binge, emotional eating is gonna take place. Instead of regular ice cream, get Arctic Zero, because it's just pure protein. It might not taste the same way, but at least the psychological piece is going to be there. And the next time, maybe when you even grab onto Arctic Zero, you can look at it and go, I don't really want it anymore. I'm just going to have an apple. It is an ongoing battle, and it's not going to happen overnight. But awareness and commitment on that piece is really key.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think emotional eating is very common for moms, and especially for pregnant women. And I was complimented yesterday, and it was really funny to hear. A friend of mine said She's like, if I had a skinny pregnancy like you are having, I would have had another child. And I'm like, it's kind of nice to hear that I'm having a skinny pregnancy, which I'm not having a skinny pregnancy. It's just the lifestyle that I'm so used to, you know? I mean, I don't strict myself into a frame, you know? It's not like a sheet diet, but as you said, it's more of like a list of healthy foods where you can allow yourself some fun foods, or maybe something that's not necessarily, again, chicken, broccoli made into a healthy version of something else.
Right.
So, but it's kind of good to know that, you know, you are gonna get emotional,
Right.
and you're gonna eat crap,
Right.
and you know that it's okay, and then you know how to stop yourself.
Right.
Go ahead.
You knew I was gonna say something. she just knew. The thing about crap, again, I'm gonna mention it again. The less crap you eat, the less crap you crave. So
And the less crappy you feel, exactly.
And the less crappy you feel afterwards. So you will notice that, oh crap, like emotional binge is coming on, and you make a whole wheat tortilla with hummus, you put chicken in there, you put lettuce in there, you eat that, then you cut up an apple, you eat that, then you peel a grapefruit, you eat that. It is emotional eating because you're just eating for the sake of eating. You're not really hungry. So, but your body's going to thank you later because all of those are healthy foods. They all have sugar, and it's going to send serotonin to your brain. But how you feel 3 hours later is not like this, where you're crashing from insulin going, oh my God, I really hate myself for that one. So,
but you still want more.
Right.
Yeah, and you still want more. Okay, Zlata, thank you so much for making time for that interview. Thank you so much for all of the great strategies, advice, and information. And I really hope that we help, you know, some women understand a little bit more about why we want pizza, why we want ice cream, and, you know, how to make a healthier lifestyle possible, and how to fit it into our busy lives of mothers and wives and working women. I don't know, whatever that is we do. And again, this is Zlata Sushchik. You can go ahead and follow the link that you got in your email. Go on sexyfit.com and check out what she does, what we do. And my name is Vera Stepina. I'm your host, and I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye, Vera.
Bye.